Hi, are you an INFP or just someone who's a very giving person? Well, I know a lot of people don't tell you this, but I'm here to tell you as someone who's also INFP and a giving person that, you know what? It is okay for you to take care of yourself. Hey everyone, so I'm going to talk about self-care, selfishness, and learning to receive, especially for INFPs, because that's something a lot of us struggle with. Including myself, I am an INFP in case this is your first time watching any of my videos. And I know not just INFPs struggle with this, so if anyone is struggling with this, hopefully you can get something out of this video. So I just wanted to share, kind of my experience growing up and everything, and just what I've learned about self-care and learning to receive, because that's something I've, like I said, have struggled with, and hopefully you guys can relate or learn something from it. So for context, again, if this is your first time watching, I'm going to be 35 soon. I'm 35 soon. So I've learned something in my life. Okay. I'd be stupid if I haven't learned anything. So I've learned something, because sometimes people will assume I'm like 18 and I don't know anything, but just because you're 18 doesn't mean you automatically don't know anything. But anyway, so starting from my childhood, because that's, things always start there, right? I grew up, in case you didn't know, because I don't assume everyone's watched all my videos, but my family was very narcissistic, unfortunately. I was the oldest. I got blamed for everything. No one really asked me anything about like how I was feeling, what I wanted to do. And when I say narcissistic, I mean like both my parents. And I'm not saying narcissists, I'm saying narcissistic, because I can't diagnose them. But, I've read a lot about narcissism and the signs of being raised by a narcissist, and I check off all the boxes. So yeah, I basically had to kind of put all my feelings and everything, kind of push them back and like put everyone else's feelings in before mine, especially because, my parents were kind of, they would get mad easily. Let's just say that. Kind of strict, especially with me. So, I had to be like really careful, like to not make them mad. And I just wasn't shown a lot of love and care, unfortunately. My family was not very affectionate. I never heard them say that they love me. They always wanted me to change. They didn't accept me as I was because I was different. I was more introverted, artistic than like not just my immediate family, but like the rest of my family. Like I was so alone. I felt really alone. I didn't have anyone that I could really talk to in my family or relate to. So it's like I was just there and just trying to survive basically when I had to be around family and stuff. Just kind of do what I had to do and like not make anyone mad and just survive so I can kind of until I could become an adult and move out. It's like no one really cared kind of what I thought or how I felt. Like I was fine. Like I would make concessions. Like if my siblings wanted to do something, I would do it. And because, I wanted them to be happy, and like I'm the oldest too. So, but like I always had to do that. That's the thing. Like I always had to do what everyone else wanted to do. No one even cared to ask me what I wanted to do. And because like they weren't going to do it, so I had kind of learned to just keep everything I want, all my, I guess, needs, wants to myself, because there was no point of me vocalizing them, because no one was going to actually care. So that's kind of how I grew up. My mom would actually throw away my stuff, like books, toys, just other things that I had. She would just like either throw them away or give them away without even asking me. I'd be looking for something and then I couldn't find it, and I'd be like, have you seen this? And she's like, oh yeah, I give it away, or threw it away. And I'm like, why? And she's like, oh well, I didn't see you using it. And I'm just like, so I have to use every single thing I own in front of you every single day for you to not throw away my things. And that was one of the many painful things that I went through, because I love my books and my toys and everything. I'm, pretty sentimental. And so because of that, like I learned to, like, if I would go to, when I was older, when I was a teenager, and I would go to the store with my friends and I would buy myself books or CDs or something because I love music, I would just hide it in my locker at school because that was the only place that my mom couldn't find things, because she was nosy and would just, like, there was no boundaries, I had no privacy. My, boundaries and privacy were violated. So the only place I could think of where I could put my stuff was first, like, safely was in my locker in school. And because also, not only did she like throw away or give away my stuff, like if I went to a store with friends and I would buy books and music instead of clothes, she would get mad. She was like, why are you not buying clothes? And she always wanted me to buy like brand name clothes. Like they have to have the logo right here. And like, that's not my style. I don't like having the logo here, and I don't really care about the brand. It's more like if it's good quality or if I like it. But she would get mad when I would spend my money on, books and movies, like things that I enjoyed. She would get mad because it wasn't what she wanted. So that's the other reason why I hid my stuff, because I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to hear her getting mad at me again. So to avoid that, I would just hide my stuff. And I also had trouble like with receiving compliments. I still kind of have trouble with that, but I'm getting better at it, because I learned as well when I was a kid that I couldn't really be proud of myself. I couldn't really talk about any achievements, because every time I would mention any achievements to my family, because I was a pretty good student, I was like, in the gifted program, honor band, orchestra. And anytime I had some achievement, I got some award or something, and I even just like showed it to my family. It's like my sister too. They'd be like, oh, stop showing off. And I'm just like telling you what I got. I don't think that's showing off. But because of that, I learned, oh, okay, I guess it's bad to talk about like anything good that happens, like that I accomplished. So I just learned to not talk about things, and I still kind of struggle with that. Like I won't, like if something good happens, I just kind of, or I achieve something, I don't really say too much about it, because I'm like, oh, people are going to think I'm showing off, and I don't want to show off. And I think it hurts me sometimes with interviews, or if I'm on an audition or something, because I won't mention like cool things that I've done or accomplished, because I don't want to come off as a show off. And then people later will be like, oh my God, that was like a really cool thing, or that was a cool accomplishment. Why did you like not mention that? Like that would have been really cool for them to know. And I'm just like, well, I'm used to being told that talking about your accomplishments, just even mentioning them, is showing off. So I just learned to not do it. So it's kind of hurt me. I never really got compliments like, from my family. It was always, why can't you be like this girl? Why can't you be more like your sister? Why can't you be like this? Like, there's no appreciation for who I was as a person. It was, why can't you change? That's the message I got. And because I'm not used to like people being appreciating me or receiving compliments, I don't know, it's hard to accept them, because when people would give me compliments, I just feel like they're saying it because they want to get something out of me, or they don't really mean it. And then I also got kind of traumatized because this kid in high school, he told me, he was like, oh, you're really pretty. And I was like, oh, thank you. I was trying to like receive the compliment. And he was like, yeah, pretty ugly. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm never going to trust any compliment again. So I kind of feel that still, like every time like I get a nice compliment, I feel like the person's going to be like, just kidding, or just say it's like they don't really mean it. So I've struggled with that, but I try to be better at accepting them, especially if, I can tell that the person is a nice person. Just like if maybe you guys can learn this too, but if someone gives you a compliment, like just say thank you. That's it. You don't really have to say too much. Like, I know it's hard, but just say thank you. And a lot of people will appreciate it. But it's still hard. Those thoughts kind of still run to my mind, like, oh God, like, hopefully they actually mean it. Hopefully they don't say that they're kidding. Also, my parents kind of had this mentality, and they kind of raised us with like, everything had to be a struggle. Like nothing could be easy. Like if you make anything easier on yourself, like you're a bad person, because they were like that. I grew up thinking like everything has to be a struggle. If you do something like to just make your life easier, it doesn't have to be malicious, but if you just do anything to make your life easier, like delivery, getting something delivered instead of going to get it yourself, that means you're a bad person, you're lazy. And it's like, now I'm 34. It's like, no, if you like delivery once in a while, like it doesn't make you a bad person. But that's how my parents raised me. Like anything that would make life easier, like no, especially my dad. My mom was a little bit more accepting of that, but not all the time. But my dad was like, it was like, he's not going to do it. He's not. If you see me kind of looking to the sides, because I have notes, because I have a lot of thoughts and I'm going to forget them if I don't write them down. So some examples, as I was getting older and I'm like learning to make life easier for myself, work smarter, not harder. I mean, I work very hard, but if you can work smarter, why not? So when I was older, I bought my mom some appliances to make her life easier. Even though, like I said, she was not very nice or kind to me, I still, want to help her out. And I bought her like a rice cooker, the, really nice ones for one holiday. I showed her how to use it. Like, this is going to make your life so much easier, at least for a little bit. You just, so easy to make the rice and everything. And then I came back to visit and I saw it freaking in storage collecting dust. She never used it. And I saw that she was making rice her old way, in the pot and boiling water. I'm just like, I was trying to help, trying to make life easier, but okay, the older generation, sometimes they're just too stuck on their ways. And then another time I had bought her those Shark Vacs, that's like a vacuum and steamer, because it was 2-in-1, didn't use any chemicals, you just use water. I've used it, I liked it, so I bought my mom one to make it easier for her, so she wouldn't have to like mop and then broom and everything. And again, I bought it for her, I showed her how to use it, and I come back to visit again, collecting dust. She never used it. After 2 times of that happening, I'm just like, I'm done. I'm not going to buy her any more appliances. Apparently, she doesn't want my help in like trying to make her life easier. She likes struggling. I don't know. And I kept both of the appliances. Yep. I said, okay, so you're not going to use them? So I'm going to keep them because I did buy them. So instead of having them collect us, I'm going to take them. Also with traveling, my dad was just like so cheap. Like, I'm frugal. My dad is cheap. I feel like there's a difference, because with me, I'm frugal in terms of I don't like to spend money on just like everything. I think about what I spend my money on, but I know there are some things that are worth spending money on, worth investing in. Whereas my dad just doesn't like to spend any money. Like, even if something would be better in the long run to kind of spend a little bit more money on, he won't. So that's a difference. And I grew up, thinking like my dad, because that's how I was raised. But now that I'm getting older and just through experiences, I'm more of the mindset of like, you know what? Some things are worth spending money on because they're going to last longer. It's a better value, better quality. Like, it's not like buying the cheapest thing is not always the best thing. So when we would go on road trips when we were kids, no matter like how, even if the trip was going to take 4 or 5 days to get there, because we would go to Mexico and California a lot, like my dad always wanted to drive. Even though on the plane, it could have taken just a few hours. He had to use the cheapest option, which in retrospect, I don't even know, was it really that much cheaper? Drive multiple days. So gas, maintenance for the car before the trip, hotel rooms, like food on the way. Like, was it? I think sometimes it just balances out, but they just always have to struggle. Always have to struggle. And the only time that we flew was one time when we needed to. It was like the only way to kind of get there. And of course, we didn't just fly on like a regular plane. My dad got my uncle, his brother, who was a pilot, to fly us in like a little private plane because it was probably cheaper. Just gotta save that money, right? And in case you're wondering, when we were younger, like, my dad had a really good job, and we weren't rich, but we weren't like dirt poor. We were just like kind of comfortable middle class. I guess that's how I would describe it. And it kind of hit me about like, you know what? Not everything has to be a struggle. A couple years ago, when my cousin was getting married, I was living in LA, and, you know, it was in Mexico, and it was going to take me like probably 2 or 3 days to drive there. And then I wanted to stay for a few more days too, you know, so it's going to be almost like a week, and then driving back. So that's just a lot of time to take off work. And I'm just like, why can't I just fly there? Like, because of, you know how long the flight was? Okay. The flight from LA to where I needed to go for my cousin's wedding was 2 hours. Actually, a little bit less, maybe an hour and 55 minutes. And no, my parents were like, just drive, 2 or 3 day drive and I was going to have to do it by myself because I was living by myself. I didn't live with them. So I don't feel safe doing that as like a single young female driving in Mexico by myself for 2-3 days. Like, no, I don't feel comfortable, but no one cares about my safety. It's just what's going to save you money. Like, no. So yeah, the flight was maybe a kind of pricey, but I feel like it kind of balanced out because I didn't have to take off that much time from work. So I was able to save money there because I could work more. And it was so nice. Just instead of struggling, being scared for 2-3 days to get there and then 2-3 days back, that's like 5-6 days. Instead of that, I only had to be on the plane for a total of like 4 hours, you know, 2 on the way and then 2 on the way back. And yeah, it was a little more expensive, but I felt so much better. And that's when I was like, you know what? Not everything has to be a struggle. It is worth it to just spend a little bit more, especially when it comes to safety. But my parents just, it's not just them. I feel like most of my family doesn't understand that. Maybe the younger ones do, but it's just like the older generation. I feel like they think everything has to be a struggle. Not everything has to be a struggle, okay? Sorry, this is kind of going for a while, but I'm trying to kind of provide the backdrop because I think what I say later might make more sense once you understand my background. So a certain moment that really kind of stuck out in my mind to me in terms of like, wow, like I'm not used to people being nice to me and giving to me because I am used to thinking about others, putting others before me, you know, doing volunteer work and stuff like that. And I still love that, but I don't really think about what I want sometimes. You know, I kind of grew up kind of feeling that maybe I don't deserve nice things because I didn't get it and I wasn't made to feel like that. And anything I would do for fun, it was kind of looked down on by, my family and stuff. So, and I was in college and I was like, I think 18, 19, I think it was my freshman year. I went hiking with one of my friends and I've known her forever. Like we've known each other since we were babies. And she had more money than me. Her family's just wealthy. And we went hiking and then after we were hungry, so we went to Subway. Like I always felt kind of insecure, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but around her because she always had more money than me and she was able to like treat people and I never could. I could barely like pay for myself. I've kind of always struggled financially because my parents didn't really teach me good financial skills. I don't think they really know financial skills. Yeah, so I'm used to like just not having a lot of money. So we were at Subway and my friend asked me if I was going to get something. I was like, no, I don't really have a lot of money. That's kind of what I would say like all the time. Like I didn't really go out to eat. And she's like, no, it's okay. I'll treat you. And I'm like, no, it's fine. And she was like, yeah, it's fine. And she like insisted. She's like, it's fine. It's fine. And so she bought me a sandwich and I freaking cried. Like I cried when I got the sandwich. And like this was like 15 years ago when this happened and I still remember it. So I got the sandwich. It was like 6-inch and I cried and she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, why are you crying? I don't even remember if I actually told her, but I knew I was crying because I thought it was so nice that she did that, like just treating me because I'm not used to it. And she was showing me kindness. It was genuine and she wasn't like expecting anything from me. She wasn't like, okay, if I do this for you, if I give you this, that means that you have to do this for me. There wasn't like, because I grew up with that. I grew up with like, if someone does something nice to you, you're gonna owe them. And it wasn't just from my family, but just like mean kids from school and people at work and things like that. It's like people, like a lot of narcissistic people that like, they don't do kind things out of the like goodness of their hearts. Like, if I do it for you, it's because you're gonna owe me. So that's kind of how I grew up, and that like, that's how people are. So I was like, wow, like, and I said like, I'll pay you back. And she was like, no, it's fine. Like, she was really trying to make me understand, like, it's fine. I just bought you a sandwich. It's okay. Like, you don't owe me anything. But I just wasn't used to it. So I was crying, and it really, like, it's so dumb. Like, you're crying over a 6-inch Subway sandwich. It wasn't the sandwich. It was just her kindness, because I wasn't used to it. And to me, that what I was like, wow, like, I'm really not used to it if I get this emotional over someone buying me a 6-inch Subway sandwich. And after that, like, I met more people along the way who were genuine and kind, and I've slowly been learning on like how to receive, which has been hard, and just let people be nice to you, especially guys. I used to be like, if they would open the door for me, like, I can do it for myself. But like, guys are just being nice. Like, there are some nice guys out there, you know, good gentlemen who, like, not just because they open the door doesn't mean they want to sleep with you. Yeah, there are some a-holes like that. Trust me, I've encountered a lot of them. But I've also met guys who, like, that's how they are. They're just really kind people, and they want to help you out. And guys like to help, at least the good ones. So if somebody wants to help you, it doesn't mean that, you know, they're saying you're weak or anything. I have also dated narcissists and have had narcissistic friends and everything, so I have plenty of experience with that. But I mean, even though it stunk kind of going through that, like, at least I kind of know the difference now between someone who's like narcissistic and a genuine person. So another big part of my self-care journey was actually Queer Eye on Netflix, the new one. I knew about the one in the 90s, but I didn't watch it. But I love the new Queer Eye on Netflix. Like, if you are struggling with taking care of yourself and thinking you're a bad person for taking care of yourself, please watch Queer Eye, because that's what it is. And if you're an INFP, you're probably gonna cry in every episode, because I cry. Every episode, I cry. But I love it because it really, like, touched me, because a lot of the things they said really just apply about just, they have a lot of people on there who are very giving. It's like they always put others before them, and they don't really take care of themselves. And it's okay to take care of yourself, you know? And it is true that you can't really take care of others if you don't take care of yourself. I mean, maybe you could, but you can do a much better job of helping others, of taking care of yourself, if you take care of yourself first. You know, you've all heard, you know, that whole metaphor. If the airplane's going down, you put the oxygen mask on first, and then you put it on a child. Because of Queer Eye, I started going on my little self-care journey to just try to take care of myself a little bit more. It's not like I became like super selfish, because I just try to have more of a balance. I definitely still like to help people, you know, volunteering. I sponsor a child. I have a dog that I take care of. I still love to give love and help others, but I just try to have a balance where I'm also taking care of myself. So instead of being like all the way here, like just giving, and who cares, like not even caring about myself, I'm not going to go to here where I only care about myself. Screw everyone. I'm trying to be like in the middle and just have more boundaries, not spread myself too thin, saying no to things so I don't overwhelm myself, which has been hard. And I know a lot of INFPs struggle with that. And I'm actually going to make another video about saying no. So stay tuned for that. Because of Queer Eye too, I just kind of started treating myself to like nicer clothes, like quality stuff, like this one from Lulu's. I love Lulu's. If you see my videos, I always talk about Lulu's because I really love their clothes. I think it's really good quality and also affordable. So I love Lulu's. So I was like, you know what? I don't have to buy the cheapest thing on the rack. If I want to spend some little money on something that I really like, that's quality, that's gonna last, I'll get it. And it feels so nice, you know? So another important moment for me in my self-care journey, where I also got emotional, was, last year, after, watching a lot of Queer Eye and trying to just kind of take care of myself, do things that just kind of make me happy and feel good. Because I grew up thinking that everything I bought, it had to have some kind of practical use. Like, you can't just do anything or buy something if it just makes you happy. It had to serve some kind of utility, because that's how my parents were. They wouldn't just do something or buy things just because it was fun. Like, there always had to be some kind of use for it. And that's how I always thought too when I would buy things. Like, I'm not going to buy something if there's not some kind of practical use for it or anything like that. Even if it's like nice or cute, like, no. But then I was like, you know what? It's fine once in a while to just buy something that's nice and cute because it makes you feel good. Like, what is so wrong about that? Why can't we feel good? So I wanted to kind of have my space here just feel a little bit nicer, just kind of have elements that I like, which are the color blue, nature. I love that stuff, so I wanted to kind of have that in my space. So I went to TJ Maxx to like their home decor section, and first of all, I felt really weird because I don't really go there to buy like cute little things to decorate. So I was like, well, I really like flowers, so I want to get some flowers, not roses. Some plants. I wanted to get like something blue for my bed. So I bought this flower. This was the first one I bought. It's an orchid. It's fake, but I wanted a fake one because I wanted it to actually last, so I don't have a green thumb. And then I bought this pillow. It's nice and soft and blue. And oh my gosh, when I grabbed this, and the flower, I freaking started crying in the store. Just like a couple tears, like, because I just could hear my mom's voice in my head. Like, why are you buying that? What's the point of you buying this flower? What like purpose is that gonna serve? What purpose is this decorative pillow gonna serve? You already have pillows. It's like, yeah, I do have pillows, but this one's cute and it's soft and it's my favorite color. So what's wrong with that? So it was so ingrained in me. Like, I'm freaking, 33 at this time. And it's just like, I still have those thoughts. And it was hard. And I was crying. I'm just like, why am I crying? I'm just buying myself a nice pillow and flowers. But, that's, I guess, growth. I guess it's, growing pains. It just kind of made me realize, like, oh my gosh, like, this is something that's just like so ingrained in me that I'm trying to work through. It just makes me feel better, like having this in my space. Like, you shouldn't feel guilty if there's something that you want to buy for your space that makes you feel good, even if maybe it's just there to look cute, to look nice and make you feel at home. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's your home. Like, you should feel comfortable. If you come home and you're always stressed because maybe all you have is just like work stuff or things that you like need, but nothing that's really there because you love it and makes you happy. Like, no, that's your home. That's where you spend a lot of your time. Well, maybe not if you're working out a lot, but that's where you go to sleep. That's your home, so why not make it look nice? And that's something I learned from Queer Eye. So I really, I love that show. I want to thank all of them. I love them so much. I wish I could talk to them. I mean, I met Anthony, but I didn't really have a lot of time to talk to him. It was really quick. But that's something I would want to tell him, is just thank you for just kind of making me feel okay with taking care of myself. And it's not a crime to take care of yourself and, make yourself happy. I do deal with like mental health issues. I'm not saying that this cures my mental health issues, but it's helpful. When it comes to friends, I feel like it is important to kind of take stock of which friends maybe are draining you, or maybe you're giving too much of yourself to people, because I notice I do that. I would do so many things for my friends. Like, I would drive to see my friends to different states. Okay, to go to their weddings, to go to freaking birthday parties, because I'm just a loving person and I'm very loyal. And if I love my friends, like, I will do anything to like be there for them for, like I said, birthdays, weddings, especially because for me, weddings are really special because it's a once in a lifetime thing. Hopefully, if you don't get divorced. But anyway, like every wedding it's once in a lifetime. So I wanted to be there for my friends. So I've driven across states when I only had maybe 1 or 2 days off from work. I barely had any money. For one of my friends, I drove from Arizona to Texas and back. I barely made it back with any money. I had so little money that I barely had like just enough for gas. And when I was coming back, I'm like, oh my gosh, my tank is running low. I'm gonna get stranded. It was worth it though, because I got to go to my friend's wedding. I didn't buy any food on the way. I took my own food. I didn't stay in a hotel. I slept in my car to save money. I basically like drove to the wedding, stopped at like a bathroom to do my hair. I had showered before. And then I went to the wedding, had fun and everything. After the wedding, slept in my car, drove back because that's how much I love my friends. Okay. I wanted to be there for the wedding and she was really appreciative. I'm so happy that I was there. And I'm not saying her wasn't like that. She wasn't grateful, but I'm just saying that, that's the kind of friend I am. And there was a friend, I considered him one of my best friends. Like we were really close and I ended up moving away for work. So I moved to another state, not that far away. Okay. We were only 6 hours away driving. I really cared about this friend and I would drive to go see him. And then I moved to LA, so I was a little bit closer to him. So I basically, like, after a while, I thought about all the times that I drove to see him. And it had been, I think, like 7 times that I went to visit him. And how many times did he visit me? 0. I'm not saying it had to be the same. I'm not saying it had to be 7. But I was like, okay, it's getting a little, like, uneven. Okay, when I'm giving this much and I'm not getting, like, anything really. I'm just like, we live the same distance. If I'm able to do it, why can't you do it? Like, and he had the money. It's not like he didn't have the money. He had the money. He just chose not to. And I was like, okay, obviously I care about you more than you care about me. So I kind of, like, when that happens, you have to kind of pull back a little bit. I didn't cut him off. I wasn't like, we're not friends anymore. But I just kind of, okay, I'm not going to make any trips anymore. We're still going to be friends. I'm not going to make any trips. But then we ended up not being friends because of something else. He was kind of a jerk. And then I had other friendships too, where I was giving way more than they were giving to me. And I'm not saying it has to be like kind of scoreboard, like, okay, I give you something, you give me something. Like, no. But when it gets like this and you're giving this much and this person's like just taking, not really, it's like, come on, don't feel bad about maybe pulling back from that person, maybe giving a little bit less. And instead of giving to that person who doesn't appreciate it, if there's another friend who you see that actually do appreciate it, they also give as well. Just use that energy from that toxic friend or just not as good friend and give it to the other person who's a little bit more giving. Okay? I know it's hard for us. Like, we always want to like be nice and give and everything, but just kind of redirect your energy, your love, instead of giving it to like someone who's not appreciating it, taking you for granted, giving it to someone else. And also give yourself some of that love and energy as well, because you are worth it. For example, I love traveling. I hate that I have not been able to travel how I want, where I want for the past, 8 months? I don't even know. I lost track of time. But I'm so tired. I'm so tired that I can't travel. And I'm gonna take a little staycation with me and my dog. And I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna go all out. And it's hard. Trust me, it's hard because I'm so used to like, okay, what's the cheapest option? Blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I'm gonna go all out. I'm going to celebrate my dog's birthday and my birthday. His was a few days ago in November. Mine is in January. So it's gonna be a little birthday staycation for both of us. And I'm just going to kind of think of it as that. If you're celebrating someone's birthday, your friend, your significant other, are you going to give them like the cheapest option ever? Like, no. So why don't you do that for yourself? You you deserve nice things. We're so used to like, we do these things for other people, but we don't really do them for ourselves. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. So maybe just kind of think of it that way. And again, it is hard because like my instinct when I'm looking up prices is always like, get the cheapest hotel. But I'm like, no, it's okay. It's our birthday trip, staycation. We're going to go a little bit more expensive than we're used to, but it's okay because it's worth it, because I'm going to treat my dog and me. So I want you to feel like, understand that it's okay for you to do those nice things for yourself too, because I know we're very hard on ourselves, and just the way we talk about ourselves or to ourselves is not like, we probably wouldn't talk that way to people we love. You know, we would go all out for them. So why don't you go all out for yourself? You know, like if you're watching this, you're probably a very, very giving person. Okay. And I just want you to know, like, you deserve to treat yourself. Okay. You deserve to give to yourself as well, because like I said, the better you take care of yourself, the better you will be to take care of others, to love other people, because you're going to be coming from mindset of abundance, and you're just going to be more refreshed too. Like, you know, taking care of yourself, going on a little trip, maybe taking some days on your own where you just do something fun for yourself. You're just going to feel so much better, and you're happier, and it's going to just, you know, reflect, and hopefully you can pass that on to other people. But if you're constantly like stressed and just not feeling good, you're not going to be able to help people as well. I'm sorry this video was really long, but I feel like I always have to give context for people to understand where I'm coming from. But I hope you got something out of this video, out of my journey, and let me know, please, in the comments if you can relate, or maybe things that you do to take care of yourself, because maybe I could use some of these tips. Maybe somebody in the comments could use those tips too, especially maybe those of us who are a little bit older. We can kind of help out the younger kids, so maybe they don't have to suffer as much as us. Again, I'm in my 30s. I know I'm not like super old. I'm going to be 35 soon. Okay. If you're a giving person, you do deserve to take care of yourself. I wish I could give you a hug. You're amazing. Please take care of yourself and love yourself. And just like you would treat other people, you know, you would go all out for them. Don't feel bad or guilty about going out for yourself. And if anyone calls you selfish, they probably don't even know you. Okay? I've noticed that most of the people that hate me, that say mean things about me, call me selfish, don't even know me. And then those that do know me and still call me that, usually those people are very narcissistic, because that's what narcissistic people do. And not only are they not narcissistic, but also they're selfish. They're projecting. So just think about that. When somebody says that, either they don't know you that well, or they're probably projecting, because I've had so many people do that. I've had guys cheat on me and accuse me of cheating when they were the ones who were cheating. I've never cheated. I've had very selfish people, shallow people accuse me of being selfish and shallow. And I'm just like, have you looked in the mirror? So I just think it's hilarious. So don't feel so bad when people call you selfish, because again, they either don't know you very well, or they're narcissistic and they're trying to manipulate you. And it's okay to have boundaries, take time for yourself, love yourself. It's okay. All right. Hopefully that helps. All my social media in the description below, and I hope to hear from you. And please leave a comment. You're awesome, and send you some love. Bye. And watch Queer Eye.